Absolutely gorgeous ladies. Hello, everyone. Bill Apter down here at Apter's Alley, and I'm with my, it's 81 degrees outside, but the air conditioning was left on all day here. Comover's got to be fixed. The air conditioning was on all day here in Apter's Alley, so I'm wearing this hoodie that I got a while ago. It's an NXT hoodie. Look at that. You know something, brother. Or you're NXT. But no, it's a really cool hoodie. So you could probably get it on WWE.com, shop.com. Somebody gave it to me as a gift. I promised someone that I would explain the reason, and hello to everybody who's joining in. I said that I would explain the reason behind that incredible thumbnail picture. Did you see the thumbnail picture? It's me with 9 gorgeous, scantily clad women. It was a long time ago. Check it out. Look at old wonderful Willie there, young wonderful Willie there. Como still existed. So the story behind the picture. The story behind the picture. Beside doing wrestling magazines, back when I worked for GC London Publishing Company, Stanley Weston, the boss, decided we're going to do a magazine on roller games. It was kind of like a modern version of roller derby. So Craig Peters, one of the other editors, one of my best friends in the whole world, and I went out to California, and we photographed roller games, and we got to photograph all the players. So these were the roller girls, and they couldn't keep their hands off me. Well, yeah, would it have been the other way around? Of course. But no, there's a great picture. So I don't know where any of these girls are now. Take a look. If you know any of these girls, get them in touch with me. Send them my Twitter gimmick. Send them anything. So, all right. So I just thought I would let you know all that. So let's start off. First of all, hello, everyone in the room right now. As you know, this is a magazine style podcast. So if I don't, there will be one point in the podcast today that I will get to your questions. And please, and tell all your friends to come on into Apter's Alley right now, because fantastic Bobby Fulton will be here via phone in a little while. And as you know, the Fantastics were one of the great tag teams of all time. Bobby Fulton and Tommy Rogers. Tommy, unfortunately, and he was such a great guy, died several years ago, and Bobby Fulton continues being around the wrestling convention scene and stuff, and he hasn't retired. He is retiring actually this Saturday night, which will be the 26th of May, 2018. And we figured before he retires, 2 days prior to his retirement, we would get him on here. So again, hello, everyone. Let's go over a couple of headlines right now. So I don't know if you heard this, but the WWE has announced now that their pay-per-views will now start at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, commencing with Money in the Bank. So will the pay-per-views be 4 hours? That's a possibility. From what I understand from my WWE contact, they'll be between 3 and 4 hours. So once again, and I'm not pimping for them. I'm on there. Somebody called me a pimp, and I'm not a pimp there. But that's who was it? Dougie Fresh Richards. Bill is a pimp. That's because of that. That's this. No, I never pimped anybody out. But for $9.99, come on. The pay-per-views starting at that hour. That's going to be great. I also found out today that Johnny Mundo is going to be on the next series of Survivor. Congratulations. That's absolutely Fantastic. Little earlier, one of the first people to come into the room, Raziel Ramos. Hello, Raziel. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. Asked me what it was like to be on Pro Wrestling This Week. Few fans that don't know what that was. It was back in the 80s. It was similar to Entertainment Tonight and all. It was a show where we covered pro wrestling in a lot of the territories. Gordon Soley and I hosted it at times, but most of the time it was Joe Pedicino and Gordon Soley. And I had a segment doing weekly rankings and an editorial. But it was great. I had a great, and I was looking through photos earlier today. It's weird that you came up with this. And here's a photo from a special Pro Wrestling This Week called WrestleThon 1987. And this was Joe Pedicino, who was here, and his lovely wife, Bonnie Blackstone, the lovely Gordon Soley, and the lovely Craig Peters. And there's me having fun on the set there for a benefit, an all day and all night benefit. But that, I loved doing Pro Wrestling This Week. I was trying to get this together to do the same show similar to it with the independent federations, but it was just, I couldn't get anybody to put it together, to do the wraparounds, to fund it. And I'm not a GoFundMe guy. I don't want to do that. And if somebody wants to come up and sponsor. Speaking about that, we're running a special on onewrestling.com right now. If you'd like to sponsor, put an ad or a banner on onewrestling.com, hit me up at Apter One Wrestling on my Twitter, or bapter at onewrestling.com on email. We got a special thing going on right now. And also your message will be on all my videos as well. So it's a deal you can't turn down. Let me see what else I have on here before we call Bobby Fulton. Yeah, let me check some of the headlines here. Impact Wrestling has announced a pre-Slammiversary press conference and public Q&A. The event will be held, I'm reading this, by the way, from onewrestling.com. The event will be held at 10 a.m. Eastern Time at Real Sports Bar and Grill in Toronto, Ontario, voted by ESPN as the best sports bar in North America, located in Maple Leaf Square at 15 York Street. Tickets for Slammiversary will be available June 4th at the press conference or at shopimpact.com. Slammiversary is such a great show. Tickets for Slammiversary, they are available. Anyway, the press conference and Q&A will feature former Impact World Champion. If I'm looking down, I'm reading here, Austin Aries, former NFL player Moose, and 5-time former Knockouts champion Madison Rain. And all media is invited to attend, and international media will be able to participate via conference call. Full details will be forthcoming, so we will let you know, of course. Impact Wrestling tonight at 8 p.m. and DVR at the beginning of it, of course, just in case we run a little overtime. What did you think of Shinsuke Nakamura on Smackdown this week? He was incredible. His character is so great. I mean, it's actually him. Want to update you. Legends of the Ring, June 9th, Monroe Township, Cranberry, New Jersey. I will be there as a guest. I will be selling my book, signing my book. If you don't have a copy of my book as yet, and it looks like I had a copy of my book. Here it is. Here it is. Is Wrestling Fixed? I didn't know it was broken. If you already have one and you don't have it signed and you'd like me to sign it, just bring it. There's no charge for that. If you want to buy a book, I got to charge you for that. And I will have several copies of the audio version too. So Legends of the Ring is coming back to Jersey, June 9th. Tickets are just $20 in advance. And over 10 Hall of Famers and a virtual encyclopedia of rare and obscure talent. www.legendsofthering.com. Mick Foley will be there. Rob Van Dam, Harley Race. Wow. Double J, Jeff Jarrett, Jerry the King Lawler, Arn Anderson, Mean Gene Okerlund, Emma. Isn't that Tennille? Yeah, Dashwood. Summer Rae, Demolition, and this guy named Many Others. Yes, many others will indeed be there. Okay, it's time. Let me just see if there's any other news headline to get here. And again, I will answer all your questions today. Let's see. Oh, yeah. This people are asking me, Bill Apter, are you going to be all in? I can't tell you yet. I can't tell you yet if I'll be all in. Let me just say I want to be at all in, but I can't tell you yet. It's not ready for prime time or anytime. Not yet. And this week, well, no, I can't tell you that either. Okay. So what we're going to do right now is, let me go to my email bag here. And one of my favorite websites, beside onewrestling.com, of course, is the Gorilla Position. Ryan Bowman and Michael Melcar. I hope I pronounced Michael's name right. They do a great website. Very classy stories. And Ryan every week sends us his choice for the Wrestler of the Week. And this week is not any different. So let's go right now to the Gorilla Position and Ryan Bowman. Ryan Bowman, who is it this week?
I'm Ryan Bowman from thegorillaposition.com, telling the stories of pro wrestling storytellers, here to present this edition of the APTER Video Podcast, Wrestler of the Week. Well, in the vast skies of WWE, all other performers have been outshined by a new moon rising. At a time when the storylines in the world's biggest wrestling company seem to be a bit cloudy, there's one thing on the horizon that's unmistakably clear: the quickly developing stardom of Ember Moon. Upon entering the main roster, the former NXT Women's Champion has been impressive athletically and dominant in the win column, leading many to believe she's going to have a very bright future. This week on Raw was no different, as Moon got another convincing win, defeating former Women's Champion Alexa Bliss. Considering the dominance the Goddess held over the ladies division in 2017, it was yet another impressive victory in Ember's red-hot flight across the WWE universe. With a lot of momentum currently behind her, Moon looks to be one former developmental superstar who won't miss out on her opportunity now that she's in the big leagues. And it's become clear that the company's management has a galactic amount of confidence in her.
Good line.
With her TV win over Bliss, her universal appeal, and most importantly, the very realistic possibility of her climbing the ladder and taking home the briefcase at Money in the Bank, Ember Moon is our choice for this edition's Wrestler of the Week.
Excellent choice. The Gorilla Position, Ryan Bowman and Michael Melcar. Ryan, you're gonna have to Skype, and you're gonna have to teach me how to pronounce his name. Now, I did get a bunch of emails this week that if you see me sucking on something, I don't want to be rude, but my favorite candy in the whole world comes from the United Kingdom. And my Jason Walls from Kayfabe event and several other people, including my good friend Ali from Qatar, the promoter and owner of Qatar Pro Wrestling, brought me tons of bags and rolls of Roundtree fruit gums when I was at WrestleCon, and I'm running out. So one of them is in here, but this is a plea. If you can get some fruit gums over to me, guys, anybody from the UK or Ireland, it's desperate already. What I want to discuss real quickly, and then I want to set up to call fantastic Bobby Fulton, is I got a lot of comments, and they weren't good, about the Lashley sisters episode on Monday Night Raw. And people said, come on, Bill, you love everything pro wrestling. Did you love that? No. I didn't. That was you'll rarely ever hear me say no about any kind of segment. I just didn't. It wasn't a compelling segment to me at all. The rest of the show I found fine. I don't pick shows apart at all, but I wasn't happy with that particular segment. So, and again, it's very, very, very rare that you will ever hear me say anything even out of the box about something I didn't like. But the amount of comments that I got from fans on Facebook, on my Twitter and everything saying, come on, Bill, you got to say something. So there it is. Okay, let's try now to reach the soon to be retired Bobby Fulton. And hook him up here. Hope your fans were, that was the golden days of tag teams. You just don't get a fantastic tag team division in a lot of places anymore. All right, let me dial him here. Mm-hmm. 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 Right.
Your call has been forwarded to automated voice messaging system. 740.
Whoa. Okay. Well, we can't do that. I don't know where he is. He's supposed to be waiting for our call. Should we try again? Yes. If not, we're going to move on and we'll chat. I have lots of stuff to show you, things to do here. So, all right, let's try it again. You know his area code, but I can't broadcast.
Your call has been forwarded to an automated voice messaging system.
I don't give up easily. We're going to do it one more time. And if not, we'll try him again in 5 minutes, okay? So I might have more time to answer your questions. This is live, folks. It's ringing. It's ringing. It's not going to voicemail. 2 ringy dingies. 3 ringy dingies.
Hello?
Bobby Fulton, is that you?
Yes, it is. How are you?
This is Bill Apter, and we are live. We tried you twice. Yeah, well, we tried you twice. Got your answering. No, it's okay. We got your answering machine, and I cut it off just when it went to the area code. So our millions and millions of listeners and viewers here do not have your phone number.
I got you. That's okay. Hey, I don't mind.
But you know what my reaction was going to be?
Give it to me.
I have a sound effects machine here. So
I got you. How you doing, Mr. Apter?
I'm good, Mr. Fulton. And boy, we go a long way back. And by the way, for you fans who would like to ask Bobby questions, start sending them into the room right now, and we will definitely answer the questions. So I want to start off by saying thank you for not just your friendship, but in the golden days of the magazines, whenever I needed you and Tommy Rogers to pose for me, to do an interview for me, you always said, no problem, Bill. Always glad to do it. So I want to thank you publicly for that.
And I want to thank you, Bill, for making us who we were. A lot of people don't realize it, but before the internet days, just people rushed to book stands and drugstores and everything to buy the magazines that you all put out, and that's what made us famous. That's what made us so that we could travel to other places, and they already knew who the Fantastics were, not only me, but so many others. I mean, we're very thankful for the work that you've done and how you've been a big part of our wrestling career.
Well, thank you. And, I always temper this by saying that I was the guy out in the field who brought back the pictures and the interviews and the ideas, but I worked with so many great teams putting those magazines out, but I was the guy everybody saw with you people all the time.
Right.
So originally, you are in an era, in your prime era, you were in an era of incredible tag teams, the Fabulous Ones, the Rock and Roll Express. It was like the boy band era, so to say.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure
it was. Tell us what you felt brought on that fever during those days, because they can't seem to bring that same fever back with so many of the tag teams you rarely get the steady tag teams anymore.
Well, one reason why I think on the steady tag teams is most of these guys, when they're hired on as individuals.
Yeah.
And they can never seem to put that ideal of I'm a part of a team. And if the team goes down, then I go down. They just feel like they'll just go on to another day. You see, I just explained this recently to people. And Roman Reigns, for example, if Roman Reigns was wrestling back in our day, they would have fired him. Because I'm going to tell you why. If you were brought in as a babyface, and if you couldn't get over as a babyface and draw people, then they replaced you. They switched you heel possibly, but they didn't continue to shove you down people's throats. And I said all that to say this. I remember, Bill, before I became part of the Fantastics, I was wrestling in Memphis, and I was the first or second match guy. And I came back. I said, the people were booing me, and I was a babyface. And Jerry Lawler said, well, maybe it's time for you to leave. I mean, if you can't get the job done at what they hired you in as, then that's reason to be let go. Now, going back to
wait. We're going to make a left turn over here. So What is it? Because I know you still follow the business like I do.
Yeah.
Why do they boo Roman Reigns? He looks good. He looks good. He wrestles well in the ring. Why do they boo the hell out of this guy?
Because they don't like him.
I know. Why?
They don't want no part of him. Because perhaps the package is just they just realize he's packaged to the point that he's shoved down their throats, and they don't like it. It's just like, for example, seeing a great ball player in any sport, and they might not be great or whatever, but they're featured as a great person, and the people can see through it, and they just say enough is enough. And if they're not going to get behind them, then they have to make a change and make him either a heel or do something else with him. And the simple fact was, it's like the Fantastics. If we came into a territory and if we didn't draw money and if we didn't have people coming, then they got rid of us. It was cut and dry. And that's why some guys didn't want the ideal to wrestle on top. It was a lot of pressure. And if you didn't draw, it was your fault. So with that being said, as today, you talked about why are the teams not working? It's because there's no I in teams. And then along the way, you have guys that may be shoved down the people's throat. They're just not going to buy him. They're never going to buy him. And it's a shame because he's a great guy.
Yeah,
and he comes from a wonderful family, and he's probably a wonderful guy. But then there's business.
Well, wait, do you think if there was no internet, this is now we're getting into a topic I didn't know we were going to talk about. Let's say there wasn't the internet days anymore, and at the magazines we played him up to be a huge superstar. Do you think the internet has a lot to do with the getting over or the hatred of a particular wrestler?
Yes. But and I'm going to tell you what, it's easy to type these words. I don't like that guy.
Yeah.
But now I will tell you this, Bill, and this is the way it was, and I know you had insight and privy information to what the officers was doing because you knew, like say for example, you knew the behind the scenes and you put it in the magazine sometimes before the boys knew what direction they were going in. Right. And I'll say this, like, well, we won't share our fans with the Rock and Roll Express.
Yeah.
The people didn't realize it, but I know you knew we were going to turn heel.
Yeah.
And the NWA, and then the Rock and Roll left and this and that, and then it had to switch directions. But when Lance Russell or Gordon Soley or whoever said this guy's the toughest guy that ever walked the face of the earth and the people love him, the people believed it.
Yes.
And when your magazine said this guy is the greatest thing since sliced bread, the people believed it.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's no credibility in what the commentators say anymore. And with the underneath waves of the internet, it hurts. It's easy to say I hate somebody. And you have a lot of people out doing that, and it hurts them. And then it's a rippling effect to the arenas and stuff like that.
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
it's nothing against Roman Reigns personally.
Yeah.
And I want to say that. I've never met him, but I'm going to tell you something.
I have. I know him. He's a great guy.
If he's like any of his family, and I'm talking about every one of them, you cannot beat that family as far as kindness, as far as good, as far as great in the ring. I'm telling you, you just can't beat them. And that's why I say it's not personal, but it's business. You see what I'm saying?
Well, back in your prime days, like you said, if that would have happened, you would have had to leave and try another territory and see if you could get over in the next territory. But that doesn't exist now. No, that doesn't exist now, and that's the problem that they have. Is all of a sudden here he's worldwide. You got to repackage him, and if it was me, I would turn him a heel. If I was the powers that be, I would turn Roman Reigns heel right now. I would make him such the biggest heel in the place that when he did turn babyface, and now think about it, Jerry Lawler was a heel first, and then turned babyface. Dirty Dutch Mantel, same thing. Superstar Bill Dundee, same thing. When you turn him babyface, it'll make him bigger and better and badder than ever. I think what I'm saying, now that we're talking about him, and again, we have to get back on point, but now that we're talking about him, I had an idea a few weeks ago that the way the fans are reacting, and these are the smart fans, because when I go walking my dog in the morning on Tuesday morning, and I passed a bus stop, and these kids are talking about Roman Reigns, they don't hate him. They don't hate him. There's a lot of non-Roman Reigns haters, but I think a good way maybe to get him, and you and I just checking out ideas here, is to be, well, you're not working out here, and do this publicly. You're not working out here, so we're going to put you down in NXT. Right? We're going to put you in our farm team until you get better. Or drop him down to the level on the card, and he works his way back up, beating people. Yeah. But now here's the other problem, Bill. I didn't know we were going to talk about this, but everybody is about on the same level, and that's the way Vince wants it. It's the WWF coming to town, so it's hard to get someone over with someone that's not over themselves. Yeah. Yes. Now think about it, Bill. Think about it. How can you get someone over? Say, for example, like you were going to Memphis. And you said, man, I'm going to tell you something. We're going to put you over Jerry Lawler right off the bat. That'll get you over, because Jerry Lawler was over. And I'm just talking about Memphis or Dusty Rhodes in Florida or Georgia or whoever. We're bringing in a bad heel or Sting. Yeah. But now, who's heel enough? Yeah. Who's the man enough? Yeah. You understand what I'm saying? Well, but if you look pointed in the eye there, it's Brock Lesnar, of course. Yes. But he's a popular bad guy. Yes. People love him. Now, here's what I'm going to tell you. And this is what I told the Road Warriors when they turned. Remember when they stabbed Dusty in the eye? Of course. The Road Warriors said, we can't get the people to hate us. I said, I'll tell you one thing right now. If you drop down on one knee and say, please don't hit me no more, Dusty Rhodes, please don't hit me again, I said that whole arena will turn against you. Absolutely. Think about it. Yeah. Think about it. Right. If Brock Lesnar got down on his knees and begged Roman Reigns, please don't hit me no more, please, it turns the tide. But would they do that? I don't know. Could they do that? Yes, they could. Think about it. Yeah. Yeah. So let somebody up and they said, please don't hit me no more. I ain't never been hit. Brock Lesnar says, I ain't never been hit that hard in my life. Now that's what gets Roman Reigns over. Sure. There's a way to do everything, but who knows what works sometimes these days. Yes. Let's go back. Yes. Let's go back to Bobby Fulton. You and Tommy Rogers were such an incredible team. How did that chemistry come about? We were just a 90-day replacement team of the Rock and Roll Express in Mid-South. Right. When we were put together, we were only there for 90 days. Now, I'd met Tommy before in Memphis, and I was wrestling in San Antonio. He was wrestling in Georgia, and they needed that 90-day replacement team. Bill Dundee and Bill Watts put us together, and it was magical from the beginning. Wow. I can't understand it. I can't explain it, but it was just magic. And I guess the reason why is because
we never looked at each other as two individuals. Every move that we tried to think of, it was tag team oriented. And that's the way all of our matches were. It wasn't as if Tommy was saying, boy, how could I make myself look good today? Or I said, how can I make myself look good today? It was, how can we make the team look great? How can we make this match great?
Yeah.
That's what it was all about. And we were that way from the get-go. So at the end of the 90 days, when it was our turn to leave, they said, you guys want to go to Florida? Or do you guys want to go to Dallas? And I said, Tommy, I know you're from Florida, but let's go to Dallas. It's a closer move from Louisiana to Dallas. And we went there. We got over like gangbusters.
Yeah. Oh, you were so red hot there during the Von Erich period.
Yes.
There. It was unbelievable.
Yes.
Unbelievable.
Yes, it was great. The fans accepted us. It was really something. And like you said, it was red hot. And Tommy and I were two smaller guys, and we got in the ring and we worked hard. That's the one thing I can say, Bill. Regardless of where we were or what we were doing, when we went to the ring, the people was going to see 100% of us, not half of us.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? And that's the one thing.
What was the, did you guys ever have to keep on your toes because of the competitive nature of teams like the Rock and Roll Express and the Fabulous Ones to make yourselves, always say, hey, we got to keep on our toes to keep better than those teams because they're similar?
Well, I'm going to go back and answer a question you asked earlier.
Okay.
Why was it so big, prevalent? MTV just was in its infancy. Think about it.
Yeah.
MTV.
Yeah.
Videos. They put videos of the Rock and Roll, the Fabulous Ones. We all came out of the same Memphis wrestling mold. The Fabulous Ones had the music videos. The Rock and Roll Express had the music videos.
Yeah.
The Fantastics had the music videos.
Right.
If you really go back and look at it, which made us a little bit more than a professional wrestler then, it was more of a, I don't know.
Yeah, well, you were laying the groundwork almost for sports entertainment.
Sure.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah,
that's
really
right.
Think about
that's
that.
right. And that I think added an edge to us. Plus, as far as the Rock and Roll Express and the Fabulous Ones, we never thought of them as competitors.
Okay.
I've been friends with all of them for years. We just knew, and think about it. Say, for example, back in those days, what was going on with one territory, no one knew about in another territory. I mean, of course, if you were in the NWA, you were on Superstation, and people knew.
Right.
But everything was more in boxed in.
It was territorial. It was territorial.
Yes, it was territorial.
Sure.
So we didn't mess with the Rock and Roll. The Rock and Roll didn't mess with us. The Fabulous Ones, the same thing. We had appeared on cards. As a matter of fact, that first Crockett Cup, all three teams was in that thing.
I was there.
That's right. It's the Superdome in New Orleans.
Yeah.
So with that being said, we never looked at each other as a competition. We looked at each other as professional wrestlers, of course, just like anybody else. But the one thing of it was, we always, and I think all the teams worked hard, but we had that music videos behind us that you can see now on YouTube.
Yes.
And things like that help us establish us, not just winning and losing matches. You see what I mean?
So I want to bring you to a team that you mentioned before, because here you had the three teams that were different, but all high flyers. And then the Road Warriors came out of nowhere, and they changed the course of tag team wrestling.
And they changed the course of wrestling, and I'm going to tell you why. Because people didn't see guys that big. I mean, they were impressive, and they were just destroying guys on television. And they were a team. You see, Tommy and I in the Pretty Boy type team, the girls liked us. It was hard to get the guys to like us.
Yes, it was.
With the Road Warriors, everybody liked them. And the thing that helped Tommy and I with getting the guys to like us, because even the Patriot, Dale Wilkes, told me, he said, I used to go to Township Auditorium. I hated you guys because you guys, the girlfriends would like and this and that. We would just razz you guys. But the thing of it was, when we got in the bloody matches with the sheep herders, it turned things around, because then the people said, oh my goodness, the guys did. These guys, aren't only pretty boy type guys.
You're hardcore.
They'll get out there and fight.
You're hardcore.
Hardcore. And I've had so many guys from ECW say that the wrestling matches that we had with the sheep herders was the kind of the underlying foundation of what ECW became.
Oh, there were some of the goriest photos. I remember when our photographer down there used to shoot pictures of the barbed wire and the cage matches there. I was like, oh my God, I can't believe that this is Bobby Fulton and Tommy Rogers.
That's right.
They're pretty boys. They don't do this.
That's right. That's right. And that's what a lot of guys came, and then they ended up liking this and everything. And I mean, it helped change us. But getting back to the Road Warriors, they were two monster guys. And listen, the key thing for a guy, and going back to Roman Reigns, and I'll say this about the Road Warriors and any babyface, if I say, listen, on Saturday night I'm facing Bill Apter, and I'm going to beat Bill Apter from pillar to post, I'm going to pick him up, I'm going to press slam him, I'm going to pin him 1, 2, 3 in the ring within 3 minutes. Now, as a babyface, if I don't go out there and do that, then I've lost credibility.
Absolutely,
with the fans.
Sure.
The Road Warriors said, we snack on danger and we dine on death and we're going to beat them up, and they did it.
Yeah.
So the people loved them because they was a force to be reckoned with. But now listen, they brought in another era, not just of the big guy, but of the clothesline era.
Yes.
Because Ivan Koloff and I had a school in North Carolina, and everybody thought, what's it take to be a wrestler? To know and escape from a hammerlock to a top wrist lock? No, to throw a clothesline. Think about it, Bill, during that time.
Yes. Oh, everybody did it. Sure. They still do. They still do.
And it came from that era of the Road Warriors. Nothing against Joe and Mike, but they brought in a different era, the big man era. Then there was Nikita. Then there was Vladimir. Then these big guys came in, and it was just unbelievable. But then think about it. When the Road Warriors went to the WWF and they were the same size as the other guys, it cost them to lose a little bit of their edge. Yeah. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Sure. Their legend survived, but it wasn't the same thing in the ring.
That's right. And the reason why is because now they were wrestling guys, the powers of pain, guys like Barbarian and Barbarian, and well, not just Haku, but also Barbarian and
the Warlord,
Terry, the Warlord.
Yeah,
and they were bigger than the Road Warriors.
Yes.
So when they had that mystique of being the big guy, going into the territories and wrestling on Georgia Championship Wrestling against Buzz Sawyer and Brett Wayne Sawyer and guys like that. But then all of a sudden, now they're wrestling guys at the same size of them. They lose. Yeah. They lose their mystique. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but it was the big game. It was WWE. So
that's right. They were they were one of the greatest tag teams in professional wrestling.
They changed the whole ball game.
That's the way it was. They changed the whole field of the big guy. I mean, think about it. Ray Stevens. He's a guy about my size. A lot of the other guys, Matt O'Fashon and these guys. But then the Giants came in. Yeah. You understand? Sure. Think about it.
Sure, definitely.
Patterson and them guys was a big guys.
What after the when did you and Tommy Rogers when did you two split up and what?
Well, here's the deal. We what happened was we started going to Japan. Tommy, at one point, Tommy had tried to go put his marriage back together. We never really I don't think we ever really did split up. What happened was I was doing stuff with my brother. Well, and it was with Jackie. Tommy's blessings because he had said, I'm not interested. So with that being said, it was I had to keep on going. You understand what I'm saying?
You're not better than anybody, I know, because you keep going, and even though I haven't been a wrestler, but it's the business, and I keep going, so I get it.
You have to keep going, and so I brought my brother on board, and Tommy and I would still go to Japan, and then my brother and I would do other things and this and that. So he was always a part of it, and finally we went to Japan. I think my son told me for the last time in 2004. And then after that, Tommy's hip was pretty messed up, and he broke his neck on one of the tours in Japan.
Yeah, I remember
and
that.
Started a lot of injuries and this and that and everything. And there was a lot of wear and tear on your body. And he had just, but as far as friends, we never, you understand that, Bill, but business is business.
Yeah.
But as far as friends, we talked and everything, and it broke my heart with his passing. You know, and
it was a
everything.
surprise.
So,
It came out of nowhere. I mean, nobody
Yes,
expected that.
yes.
He was living in Hawaii, correct?
yes, he was.
Yeah.
Yes, he was, and it wasn't suicide. It was he had regurgitated, and it was the same thing. Mama Cass Elliot, Jimi Hendrix, a lot of those people at 27, he had regurgitated and he choked on it. As a matter of fact, in his sleep.
Oh, terrible.
And that's what had happened with him.
So now, after his passing, you have kept wrestling, and not only kept wrestling, but whenever I'm at a wrestling convention, it could be anywhere in the United States, you're always there, and your wonderful son Dylan is
Yes,
there,
sir.
and he helps book you and everything.
Yes, he does.
But so I always see. And I have to tell you this because I noticed this, that I always still see that passion and the glow in your eye that I did the first day I ever met you. It's still there. So now you have decided that on the 26th of May, 2018, you're not giving up the convention circuit or anything, but you're actually going to appear in the ring as a wrestler for the final time.
Yes, and the same guy that announced me my first match in Clarksburg, West Virginia, will be announcing this match.
And who is that?
Hank Hudson.
Oh, I remember
Hank Hudson. Yeah. He's Henry Klunkowski. He used to write in the magazines and write stories and stuff for stuff throughout Ohio and Michigan and stuff. And not only that, I got Flying Fred Curry's going to be there, who was a big part.
Wait! Before we go into the whole event, I got to ask you the question: is why now?
I'm beat up pretty bad, Bill.
Is that what it is?
I've never. Okay. Yeah, my shoulders are shot. My neck was really bad, and I got suplexed on the table from Shane Douglas, and that straightened my neck out. I mean, it was the weirdest thing. I thought he about killed me in August, but I couldn't turn my head for 15 years. And when I hit that table and it didn't break, when he suplexed me on it, I just heard nothing but cracking and popping. It was like pouring milk in the Rice Krispies. But I got my neck straightened out, but I can't.
So you got a free chiropractic adjustment via Shane Douglas.
Yes. And the thing of it was, I thought I was going to be paralyzed for the rest of my life. I laid in the dressing room for an hour after that. And then the next morning when I woke up, I thought, am I going to be able to move? And I got right up and I turned my head left to right. It was amazing and unbelievable. But here's the situation. Everybody knows I'm blind in my right eye.
Yeah.
I had some problems a couple years ago. Jerry Jarrett told me then, hey, you want to be careful wrestling around. When you're blind in one eye, you only have the other. But I love the wrestling business so much. And I still, 3 weeks ago in South Carolina, I wrestled 7 times in 2 days.
Did you really? Wow.
7 times in 2 days. And I love it still, but the Bill, I have to come to realization. I want to walk.
Yeah.
I want to walk.
Yeah.
I want to get myself straightened out before I'm 57. I've been wrestling since 1977. I want to be able to get some rehabilitation so that I can walk right.
Yeah.
Move my arms and everything. And I think this is what's going to be best. I hate it. And as I get closer, as a matter of fact, that's why you couldn't reach me. My phone is blowing up. Everywhere I go throughout my home area, when I get out of my vehicle or I'm walking down the street, people are saying, I can't believe this is it.
Yeah, me either. Now, who I'm going to ask you in old school, so who you going to be wrestling?
I'm going to wrestle Nick Curry, who is the grandson of Wild Bull Curry, who is the son of Flying Fred Curry.
Oh, wow.
Who just came out of he is a NAGA, he is a National Grappling Association champion. He's a college, just unbelievable amateur. He's starting a pro career. And this is my way. This is my way of reaching back. Because I started out, when I started wrestling professionally, I was wrestling with guys from the Al Half days and stuff, setting the ring up and everything. And Flying Fred Curry and Wild Bull Curry, I was wrestling them with Dr. Jerry Graham and Jerry Graham Jr.
Sure.
And all these different guys when I was 16 and 17 years old. This is my way to reach back.
Which is
and,
great.
because I was interested in wrestling Rob Van Dam, who's a great guy and this and that and everything. But I thought to myself, what's the best way to reach back after 40 years in the wrestling business? And I said, I want to reach back. Do you understand what I'm saying? It's kind of like paying back or giving back.
Of course.
In him. But we've got an all-star card that's unbelievable, a fan fest during the day. And then, of course, the wrestling event that night. My friend Jim Cornette's going to be there. Superstar Bill Dundee. Flying Fred Curry, Superstar Bill Dundee is going to be wrestling. He's going to be the captain, wrestling in the ring and in a 6-man tag. And Kevin Sullivan's going to be wrestling, and a captain in the opposition tag team is going to be the Barbarian Abyss. So many guys, I'm telling you, Bill.
Where can people find this online so they can learn more about it?
It's WCPTW. It's World Classic Professional Big Time Wrestling.
Or they can just go to Google and put, where is Bobby Fulton's retirement match? Make it as easy as that.
Yeah, and it's going to be in Circleville, Ohio this Saturday night. I'm telling you, Bill, it's going to be, and I've had a lot of guys say, are you really going to be done? Yeah, I'm really going to be done. Bobby Fulton.
Really?
Bobby Fulton. Really.
Right.
I told my son, what if they played the music after the match? Too legit to quit.
Yeah, right, exactly.
But listen, I've got to. And like I said, I'm going to do it. It's done. And I think about how is it going to be like to be announced for the last time? Because Bill, this was a dream of mine as a kid.
Well, you're not going to be announced. You're not going to be announced for the last time because you're still going to make appearances at shows, and they'll still announce you. But I know what you're talking about.
You understand?
Yeah. Well, Bobby, go ahead.
I appreciate you, Bill.
Well, I appreciate you too, and we're just about out of time because we do this live every Thursday night, and I try and get us all out of here so people can watch Impact Wrestling in 15 minutes. And I will make sure that I send this link to your terrific son.
Please.
There.
Please.
But I want, again, the Fantastics were, of course, such a fantastic team.
Thanks,
both you and Tommy were, as I said at the beginning, super to me. But when you talk about great tag teams of all time and people who were innovators in the tag team world, you guys were right there. So,
thank you, Bill.
Thank
you. And like I said, sorry about earlier. My phone's been blowing up.
Don't worry about it.
From everywhere is calling about this big event Saturday night in Circleville.
If your phone is blowing up, call Verizon. That's it. All right, Bobby. Listen, I'm going to give you a call in a week or two, and we'll talk about your final match.
Please, and thank you, Bill. God bless you. And continue success with your program and all that you do. Well, you're still everywhere, Bill.
You know that. All right. Thank you, Bobby. Wow.
God bless you, sir.
You too.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Wow. That was, oh, man. That was, I enjoyed that. Sometimes when we get someone on here who's old school and going through something like this where he's retiring, he just had to talk to him. Spot Center, Hank Hudson getting a shout out. Here's another shout out to him. Right now, we need to move on in our video magazine, and it is time now to go to our rankings for. By the way, I really didn't think that I would get into a discussion with him about Roman Reigns. So very interesting. Old TV. I'm not talking about television. I'm talking about one of my favorite people. Every week, he is the master of Monday Night Raw rankings. And I don't think the Lashley sisters are in the rankings this week. But let's go to Travis Volts. And Travis, Howdy, howdy, howdy.
Howdy, 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 fans.
Yeah,
this is T. Volts here. Thanks for once again turning the audio page to the ranking sections for the legendary Bill Apter's
a legend in my own mind
via video. Let's jump right in to the Monday Night Raw standings. Coming in at number 10, having lost the tag match on Monday, Jinder Mahal. In at number 9, Dolph Ziggler, who picked up a very credible ground-based attack victory over Chad Gable.
Yeah.
Coming in at number 9, he lost the main event, but was still in the main event, Finn Balor. Number 7 also lost the tag team match on Monday Night Raw, Kevin Owens. And another loser at the pay window on Monday comes in at number 6, Bobby Roode. Now on to some winners from Monday night. In the number 5 hole is Elias. Number 4, and still climbing the rankings, is Bobby Lashley, who seems to be finally getting some momentum.
Yes.
Number 3, and winning the tag team matchup, is Roman Reigns. Number 2, and seemingly unstoppable, he won the main event, Braun Strowman. And coming in at number 1, the MVP, Mr. Monday Night Rollins, the Intercontinental Champion, Seth Rollins. That leads up to, of course, the absent beast, the Universal Champion, Brock Lesnar. That's it for this week, fans. Now back to that legendary one himself, Bill Apter.
Thank you so much, TV Travis Volts. Always great to hear from you and speak with you and see you. I've been looking around because there's so much stuff here to talk about. Somebody asked me, is that me with those lovely girls in the thumbnail? And at the beginning of the show, if you showed up on time, you can learn about this. Yes, that is me. You can same comb over. You can learn about this. Watch the beginning of the show on the replay. Fred Flintstone said, Bill asked Bobby, you came in a little late, about Tommy Rogers and what kind of a guy he was. And I know for a fact that Tommy was an incredible guy. Incredible guy. Knew him really well. Wrestling magazines. He was talking about that. This is the only magazine I currently write for. It's based out of the United Kingdom, in England, of course, where they had the wedding, of course, and where I get my Roundtree fruit gums. Hint, hint, I need more. Total Wrestling Magazine. Go to Total Wrestling Magazine. Look them up on Google and subscribe every month. Every month, without fail. I have a column in here called the APTER Files, and it's my personal take on a lot of different wrestlers and my relationship with them. I had the current issue down here, and somebody walked away with it. Let me just take a look here. No, Daniel Bryan is on the cover of the latest issue, so check it out. Look it up. Let me go back to my notes here. The United Kingdom. It looks like at this point, and we're still in negotiations, that I will be coming in to England for several days on tour, courtesy of Kayfabe Events. They're going to be promoting some special events that I'm going to be doing in my one-man show and my book, and so I can't wait to get back to England. And I know there's a show coming up, I believe, at Royal Albert Hall. Might be Ring of Honor or one of the federations there. And Royal Albert Hall is like the equal to Radio City Music Hall in New York. It's the hollowed halls. And I saw several concerts there ages ago. And one of the best venues ever. But the history in there is absolutely amazing. Okay, so we're going to move on right now. I want to get to the Gonzo Sharks rankings, and then I will take your questions, and then we can proceed to maybe a little bit late to get to Impact Wrestling. So I hope you're all enjoying this. And again, this is all live. So the Gonzo Shark sent in his rankings, and the women's rankings, and the WWE Smackdown rankings. So let's check the Gonzo Shark out, and then I'll come back and answer some of your questions. All right, let's Gonzo Shark. Come on, swim on in, Gonzo Shark. Oh, well, Gonzo Shark must have. Hang on a sec, because it's saying that it's a format that my computer is not recognizing. Here we go.
Good evening, humanoids. This is Gonzo Shark for Bill Apter's Video Magazine Podcast. And I'm pulling double duty again this week to bring you the SmackDown Live Men's Top 10 rankings and the WWE Women's Division Top 10 rankings. So sit down, get your popcorn ready, clean the earwax out of your ears, and brace yourself for one of the most important weekly rankings in all of wrestling podcasting.
Okay.
I'm going to kick this off like a real gentleman, and I'm going to bring you the ladies' rankings first.
I like
so
that.
With that being said, let's kick it off. At number 10 this week for the women is a chick who has not been in the rankings for quite a few weeks, but I think she deserves to make her way into the rankings this week. She had a good match, even though she lost. I'm talking about former member of Absolution, Sonya Deville.
Yeah.
Moving up to number 9 is a woman who actually hasn't been in the rankings for quite a few weeks as well.
Who's that?
And she lost her match this week too. I'm talking about 1/3 of the Riot Squad, Liv Morgan.
Mm-hmm.
At number 8 is a woman who hasn't seen the rankings in months. She probably hasn't wrestled in months. But somehow she pulled off an upset this week and made her way into the Money in the Bank women's match. I'm talking about the ravishing Russian Lana. At number 7 is a chick who sat high atop the rankings for many weeks. And I don't know what's going on now.
Dig it.
I don't know why she keeps losing matches. I feel like her character and her flair that she had, for lack of a better term, is kind of fading away now. And I really hope that WWE doesn't bury this girl because she has great talent. At number 7 is Alexa Bliss.
Yeah.
Hopefully Alexa can get back on the winning track, and hopefully WWE does the right thing with her. Moving on to number 6
Agreed.
is one of the most impressive women in all of the WWE. And she also made her way into the Money in the Bank women's match on SmackDown. I'm talking about feeling that glow, Naomi.
Yeah.
At number 5 is a chick who has really picked up steam. She's winning matches, and I feel like WWE has booked themselves into some type of weird conundrum by putting Nia Jax against Ronda Rousey. It's a great match, but in my opinion, neither one of these women can lose. Ronda Rousey can't lose because it's going to be her first singles match.
It's Ronda Rousey.
It's Ronda Rousey.
Thank you.
Nia Jax shouldn't lose because she finally made it to the top and she's worked hard to get there. So what is she going to lose her belt in the first title defense that she has? So in my eyes, I feel like this woman at number 5 is the wild card in this. She's apparently Ronda Rousey's best friend or very good friend. And all of a sudden she's starting to win matches left and right.
Yeah.
I'm thinking that somehow she is going to cost Ronda Rousey her match against Nia Jax. And that way Ronda Rousey doesn't lose clean. Nia Jax still wins. And now you have a spin-off feud between these two. So at number 5, in very impressive fashion, is Natalya.
You're going to SummerSlam, maybe.
At number 4 is Ronda Rousey. And she had to make it into the rankings this week because She was very impressive this week on Raw, especially on the mic. I thought her mic skills were like leaps and bounds ahead of where they were last time. So she's definitely improving, and she's really a good fit for WWE, and I like what they're doing with her for the most part thus far.
And keep in mind also that she did work in Europe last week, so she's really growing as a professional wrestler.
At number 3 is probably, I'm going to say she might be my favorite woman on the WWE roster now. And she's definitely my clear-cut favorite to win the women's Money in the Bank. I'm talking about Ember Moon.
You notice he said woman, not chick this time?
At number 2, SmackDown Live Women's Champion, the Princess of Staten Island, Carmella. And at number 1.
Before we get to number 1, I have to tell you that I have started to really like the character of Carmella. Thumbs up. Number 1.
Raw Women's Champion, Nia Jax.
Yeah.
All right, let me speed this thing up. I'm going to kick it right over to the men's SmackDown Live rankings. At number 10 is a guy who I hope did not injure himself too much and will still be able to get to see him wrestle in the near future. I'm talking about Big Cass. At number 9 is a guy that I had to put in the rankings, even though he hasn't been on the shows lately. But he's still great. He's still one of the top dogs in WWE. I'm talking about the Viper, Randy Orton. At number 8.
Yeah, he is, even though he hasn't been around in just a little while, he's still a force in SmackDown. I agree with you.
1/3 of the New Day, Big E. At number 7 is a guy who I would love to see win the men's Money in the Bank match. I don't know if he will, but he's one of my favorite guys in the WWE, and I think he's really, really come into his own over the past year. I'm talking about Rusev.
It is Rusev. You know what? I still think eventually, even though Rusev he still loses, I think eventually he's going to be on the top. I really do.
At number 6, my favorite newcomer to WWE. I love this guy. I don't know what it is about him, but everything about him reminds me of an old school wrestler, and I love it. I'm talking about Andrade Cien Almas.
Yes, he has captured my imagination as well. He and his lady there, they're absolutely terrific.
At number 5, The Miz. At number 4, the artist, Shinsuke Nakamura.
Shinsuke Nakamura right now, his entire persona is so compelling to watch. Good choice.
At number 3, everybody's favorite champion, even though he's not a champion right now, but he will be soon if I had to put money on it. I'm talking about Daniel Bryan. At number 2, United States champion Jeff Hardy. And at number 1, and he's been number 1 every single time I've ever done these rankings because he deserves to be there. I'm talking about WWE champion, the phenomenal AJ Styles.
Yes.
That does it for the rankings for this week. You can hit me up on Twitter at GonzoShark1, on Facebook.com/GonzoShark1. Look for my weekly Impact Wrestling report at OneWrestling.com every Friday.
Tomorrow.
And you can find a wealth of my material at Vince Russo's The Brand and WrestlingWithWrestling.com. Until next time, this is the Gonzo Shark checking out, and I'm going to give it back to you, Bill.
Thank you. The Gonzo Shark swimming into those deep waters right now. Thank you so very much, Gonzo Shark. And thank you, Travis Foltz and Ryan Bowman. And Big Ray will be back in a week or two with that section on heel appeal. So I did promise that we do a little Ask Apter right now. So let me go to some of your questions before we call it an evening. Hello, Mr. Sacco. Wow, he's here. Let's see. I addressed that I'm not a pimp. Alan Bennett. Hi, Bill. I met Bobby Fulton in the middle of nowhere last July. Did you have to take a bus or a train, or did you drive to the middle of nowhere? Yeah, Bobby's a great guy. I hope you all enjoyed the interview with him. I first saw the band Warrant on Roller Games. Okay, so you're familiar with Roller Games and Wonderful Willie and his Roller Girls, baby. Javio, hey, just remembering about the Fantastics the other day. Steve Kane, hi, Bill. Sorry for the phone bumping and calling you over the last few days. Steve Kane, my buddy, who does a podcast, and he's been a referee for ages and been in the wrestling business for ages. Steve's phone was pocket calling me all week, but it's fine. I know you're thinking about you or your pocket are thinking about me there, Steve. All right, let's see. Alan Bennett, PWI is where I got all my info during the day. What about the night, Alan? All right, let's see who else here. Howard Becker. Hi, Howard Becker. How you doing? It's been a long time. Trying to see who else has some APTER questions here before we get out of here. Hello, Jody. I think Vince should listen to Bobby regarding about Roman Reigns. By the way, pass around on the replay of this thing about Bobby Fulton talking about Roman Reigns. I really didn't think we were going to get there. If I'm looking this way, I'm reading your comments here. Bill, is that you in the thumbnail? We just took care of that. More mid-card. Fred Flintstone, more mid-card, but worked very well together. They were not quite to the Rock and Roll Express, they were right up there. Your own opinion, always valid. Bill, do you think Adam Pearce was a good NWA champion? Teddy Two Stone Hart? Yes, yeah, absolutely. Otherwise, they wouldn't have made him champion. But he's a great wrestler. He trained special for that match, and he won. But yes, he definitely was. Teddy Two Stone Hart. Bill, did you ever hear of OTT Wrestling in Ireland? I have not. But when I come to England, if they want to book me there, get them in touch with me. Richard Bain, did the Fantastics ever wrestle the Von Erichs? He's gone right now, but I don't think they did. I really don't think they did. Let me see what else. Fred Flintstone says the Great Kabuki. Okay, I don't know where that came from. Richard Bain, Bill, what was your favorite Fantastics match? Oh my God. I think actually it was the matches they did against the Sheepherders, because not all of them were violent. A lot of them were tough, and they weren't all cage and barbed wire matches. So yeah, the matches against them were absolutely terrific. We are out of time. This is my sound machine here. Out of time. Okay, and I want to thank all of you for tuning in. Make sure you let your friends and your enemies know that we are here every Thursday night live. My book is Wrestling Fixed. I Didn't Know It Was Broken. Still on sale everywhere after 2.5 years. Let people know this is out. And all Amazon, Barnes & Noble. It's on Walmart's website, but you can't get it at Walmart. And the audio version is also for sale from Audible and Amazon as well. So in this, when I read the book, I actually do a lot of the voices of a lot of the people that I talk about, like the American Dream, Dusty Rhodes, baby, if you will, and doggone it, Bruno Sammartino. Boy, I miss him. Chapters in Canada does have the book. Why do you think they call it Chapters? Take off the CH and take off the S at the end. It's APTERs. All right. Please follow me at APTER1 Wrestling on the Twitter phone. And again, if you're interested in advertising on our live show, on our videos, and directly on onewrestling.com, hit me up on Twitter, or I call it the Twitter phone. I'll tell you why next week. Or you can email me at bapter@onewrestling.com. That's it, fans. I'm going to hit the end this stream button. Thank you all for tuning in. For everyone down here at Apter's Alley who came into the alley today, I'll see you at the matches.